What's good? What's good? What's good, people? What's goody? Can y'all hear me clearly? Because I don't have my mic. Brandon Woods, why nobody saying Inoue don't got a chin? Because he got the complexion for the protection. That's why, bro. Plain and simple. He got the complexion for the protection. They ain't gonna tell you Inoue ain't got no chin. They ain't never gonna tell you Inoue ain't got no chin. Just like they don't tell you that Ryan Garcia don't have a chin. They're not gonna tell you that. You think Devin Haney? You seen Devin Haney hurt in one fight outside of the Ryan Garcia fight, which was the Linares fight, and he only got dropped in the Ryan Garcia fight, and Ryan Garcia proved to be on performance enhancers. Yet they'll tell you that Devin Haney is chinny. You seen Ryan Garcia, Cali World Peace Plus Queen. You seen Ryan Garcia down against Tank twice, down against Luke Campbell, hurt by Oscar Duarte, dropped by Rolly Romero. Nobody talks about his chin. Not one person talks about his chin. Best Media, Chris Brooks, Manhunt, Todd French 600, what's up? Easy Walters, what's up? T-Man, what's up? Pac-Man, what's up? RC, what's up? Alan Day, what's up? Crawler Loke, Jamaican, what's up, family? Jeremy Williams, Chilltown Majors, Third Simple NSU, what's up, family? Keith Tucker, 504, what's up, 504? Travion 2 Trail, what's up? Right? They never gonna tell you that. Big Herm, what's up? It's always been that way, Big Herm. They just try to mask it. It's been that way since the beginning of time. Just suddenly they try to act like it went away. B McGee, what's up? Dude, what's up? They tried to tell you, they try to mask it as if it went away. It didn't go away. The sport was actually built on that. Take that into consideration. Let's not forget, you had Black Murderers Row. You had Jack Johnson, right? Historically, right? They talk about Rocky Marciano, but he never fought a black fighter. Just take that into consideration, right? They just try to mask it. What they try to do is try not to let the black athletes in the sport kick up dust. That's the problem. So they want you to think that. It's like I told y'all with Canelo and Terrence Crawford situation. It's blatantly obvious. Blatantly obvious. You know what I'm saying? But they'll mask it for you. They'll mask it for you. They'll tell you that, it's not about that. I just saw this thing that they did with Terrence Crawford, right? And Shushu Carrington. And Ring Magazine did this thing, right? And Ring Magazine, they did this little skit where they had Shushu walking on the streets of New York asking people their prediction for Terrence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, right? And all the Mexican fans, they asked about it. The Mexican fans said they're picking Canelo because they're Mexican. Not because of skill, not because of talent, not because of power, not because of size, none of that. Simply because I'm Mexican and he's Mexican, right? Now, look, they had Terrence Crawford walk up. Shushu says, what if Terrence Crawford you sure as content said Rocky beat 3 top black fighters. Which ones? Which ones? So Terrence Crawford walks up. Boxing Guru, what's up, family? Yeah, Rolly came through big time. So, man, come on, man. Stop it. We know Joe Louis was old. We know Joe Louis was old. Manhunt, what's up? Stop it, man. Stop it.
Let me put you on blast.
Salute my brother Claymore Rain.
No, I've been a member, bro. But well, you know what happened the other day? Some Indian dude called me up on the phone, right? And was like, hey, you know, we were noticing there was fraud on your bank account, blah, blah, blah. It was a scam, right? And the dude ran off my card number to me. He was like, your card number ends in blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, say less, King. I said, hold on for a second, bro. Right? He's like, oh, hold on for what? I said, just give me a second. Hold on. I called Bank of America customer service and three-wayed them dudes. Hello? Click. I'm like, yeah, bro. Bank of America, something like that. Cancel my card, bro. Send me a new card, bro.
Unbelievable.
I had to cancel, and I got to replace all these different accounts with my card because I don't know how this dude knew mine, but I just knew to erase it right there. I stopped it right there. So everything that was connected with that card, I've been getting like periodic. Hey, this payment didn't go through a periodic. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't replace the card yet.
Yeah, they playing games.
Yeah, you got to be careful out here, bro.
That's a fact. Yeah, no. So they asking Terrence Crawford this, right? I don't know if you saw this, right, Clay? And Crawford walks up, and they're like, oh, you know, take a picture with you, whatever. You know, that whole thing. Mm-hmm. But not one of these people, Shushu is asking him, why you picking him, Canelo, to beat him? Oh, because I'm Mexican, he's Mexican.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Right.
I saw that.
Now imagine if the black fighters was outside and they asked that, and the black fighters be like, why you picking Terrence Crawford? Because he's black.
Oh, yeah, it would be looking like all racist and all, you know what I mean? You're not allowed to have any type of nationalism unity. Or type of unity in it, you know. None. I mean, for whatever it's worth, if a white guy was to say it, he'd catch hell too, right? Like if white guys were like, why are you supporting him? He's the white guy. I'm gonna go with the white guy. It would be look like that. But you know, nationalities like Mexican and you know, like countries will always get that leeway of being able to be a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? Have that nationalist energy and be respected and understood. Whereas, you know, the race as far as black, white, you know what I mean? Or whatever have you, especially with the black white thing in just in the world, the history of the contempt there, it's always going to be looked at a negative way. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. You all right, Kalia? Salute, Kalia World. I'm telling you, man, I never had that happen, but I've heard about the scams happening now. A lot of people getting hit like that.
Yeah, it's just wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's just unbelievable, man. And now, did you see what Eddie Reynoso said?
Mm-mm.
Eddie Reynoso said that my Egypt, peace and blessings, Queen. Eddie Reynoso said that Terrence Crawford is now a great fighter. Now, mind you, the whole time, right, Clay? They've been telling us that he's too small, he's so on and so forth, right? Canelo and Eddie Reynoso. Now Eddie Reynoso says that Terrence Crawford is a great fighter. We got our chick. What's up, family? We got our work cut out. He is arguably top 5 greatest fighters of all time.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to him being too small?
Oh, that's the Mayweather. They're going to big him up. They're going to sell it. They're selling the fight. They're selling the value of the fight. That Canelo's fighting a competitive fight, and that you know that's the way that works, right? Like, you know, at one point he's not on my level. It's too easy for me, and he shouldn't be fighting me. I would just run through him. And then now that there's an actual fight getting coordinated, oh no, man, decorated, great fighter, going to be a challenge. We got to be on our A game. You know, this guy can definitely get us out of there if we're not paying attention. We don't try. That's just the game. You know, I mean, that's just the regular game that's always played. Well, by the good fighters, by the great fighters who understand the magnitude of doing something like that. Because you got a lot of fighters out here who will discredit the fighter they're about to fight, right? Just straight up discredit him. He ain't worth it. He shouldn't even be in the ring with me. Then when he beats them, he wants credit. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He wants credit for beating a great fighter, and we can't tear down that fighter where you just saying he shouldn't even be in the ring with you. You know, right. Tank did that with Frank Martin, right? like, yo, you shouldn't be in the ring with me too early. You know what I mean? No experience. You know what I'm saying? You started when you were 16. I started when I was 7. This is not even blah, blah, blah. But then on the back end of a victory wants the credit of beating, you know what I'm saying, top level fighter.
Right. Young Earl, what's up, family? Get up. What's up, family? Malante Davis, what's up? African American blacks, we definitely going up for Bud. Young Poppy, what's up? Yeah, I mean, it's I don't have a problem with it. I don't have an issue with it. You know what I'm saying? It's just that it shouldn't be an issue when black fighters do it. Just shouldn't be.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
I think it could be an issue. We just got to ignore it. Like, it's a free country. You just can't be scared to be prideful in yourself, though, and be feeling like you can't be prideful in yourself because you don't want somebody to look at you a certain way. Don't let them trap you in that box. You know what I'm saying? That you can't have pride in yourself and pride in your community. If they want to feel like it's racist, if they want to feel like it's that, you know what I mean? That's obviously it's a big hypocrisy. But at the end of the day, people are going to feel the way they want to feel about it. You know what I mean? The Black American experience in America is traumatic within itself because, you know, to speak on yourself or to hold your race up is it, you know, takes a lot of scrutiny because we're supposed to get over a whole lot of stuff and shake that off and be, you know, we're just American. But, you know, when it's convenient, we're Black Americans, right? We're Black when we're in your community, when you're, you know what I'm saying, when you're redlining us out of certain situations or opportunities, you know what I'm saying, we're conveniently Black in that situation. But if we actually try to be prideful in any kind of way or speak from that direction, then boom, you know, we're gaslighting people. It is what it is. You know what I mean? We're gaslighting them. You know what I mean?
let me ask you this. Brian Dahl, what's up, family? Let me ask you this real quick, right, Clay? Because Tio is going in. Just being E, what's up, family? Geo James Khalil 98, what's up? King Cat, my brother, been a family member, channel member for 21 months. What's good, family? Great fight weekend. I'm vacationing in Jamaica right now with the family. Haney back. I see he still got work to do, but he back. Salute to King Cav, man. Salute. Yeah, Jamaica is beautiful, bro. Love it out there. Let me ask you this, right, Clay? What you feel about, because I'm looking at my inbox and it's filling up right now with the old. It's old, but I guess people just now catching on with Tio Toma. He's Dora the Explorer looking for boots, and His Excellency Turkey Al-Rashid wants to make the fight. What's your thoughts on that, though? On the actual fight between Teofimo and Jerron? And Boots, yeah. Look, man, I think it's a great fight. I think Boots is going to steamroll. I think, you know what I mean? I think with Teofimo's athleticism and movement, it can go 12 rounds, right? Teofimo can avoid being knocked out, I believe, for 12 rounds. I think, you know, I remember Bozy saying that before. When a fighter has decided he's not going to get knocked out over fighting, it's hard as hell to knock that fighter out. You know what I'm saying? Because he's going to move and he knows how to stay out of danger. So I think it's a great fight for Boots, for Boots' resume, for Boots, you know, to cross promote, you know, his to get a fan base, right? My big question in that situation is Boots going to cooperate? What Boots now has, I was talking about this earlier on my show, saying that Boots has a lot of opportunity in front of him now. You know, 2 years ago, you know, rest in peace, Cameron Duncan, Boots couldn't fight a cab driver, right? Like, nobody wanted to get in the ring with Boots. There just wasn't no reward and the risk was too high. Today, to find him in a situation, and you got to kind of give Eddie Hearn the respect that he deserves when it comes to this. I know people have their issues with Eddie Hearn, but Eddie Hearn really did do a good job with Boots thus far to have him in a place. And now he's an actual unified lineal champion under his watch, and now having opportunities to continue to unify against a Brian Norman, or maybe even a winner between Pacquiao and Mario Barrios. So worst case scenario, you know, obviously an opportunity with Teofimo, or even go up to 154 and get opportunities up there. He's got jury now to leverage to get into some big opportunities. So the question is, based off what happened between him and Virgil, the way he walked away from the Virgil opportunity to stand back and unify with the Stanionis, does he keep on pursuing a unification at 147 pounds, even though he doesn't have to deal with the rehydration clause anymore? You have to, I think there's an argument there to say that the weight class is he's not going to just sit there comfortably fighting at 147 too much longer. So what's he going to spend his
golden years in 147 doing, unifying or aligning and making a fight with Teofimo Lopez. I would like to say money would dictate this. That the more money he can make, he'd go in that direction. But Boots has shown in the past that money doesn't really move him that way. That he's actually a fighter who's still more legacy driven than prize fighter wise driven. So as far as Turkey wanting to make that fight happen, my question is more so with Boots. Is Boots going to cooperate and make this fight happen, or is Boots still aiming to unify, or is he satisfied now being a lineal unified champion? Is he willing to go get some money and fight on a big stage, on a spectacle of a stage, big production, and actually grow his market value and his brand up? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But as far as how the fight goes, I think Boots wins. Simply.
What chance do you give Teo at all
of winning the fight?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. He's a good boxer. He can move. If he respects Boots's power and doesn't get involved in the melee that can ensue him getting knocked out, I don't know, man. I make it I say a 65-35. You know what I mean? Give him a 35% chance of winning. You know what I mean? I mean, look, man, Teo can box, man. Teo can box, man. He as you saw with Arnold Barbosa, and I know Arnold Barbosa is no Boots Ennis. But still, he has that athleticism. He can make himself very hard to hit. You know what I'm saying? Very difficult to put hands on. So yeah, 35. But I think that Boots is very athletic in his own right, and probably will be the more. Let me ask you: will Boots be the faster fighter at 147 against Teofimo? Will he be the faster fighter, or will Teo continue to bring that speed up? Will he be the faster fighter at 147? Because Boots is athletic. They compare him to Roy Jones. He can move. He's fast.
Yeah, I think that Boots will still be the faster guy.
Me too.
Yeah. Like I said when we was on live before, he's big, he's fast, he's strong, he's powerful. He could box. You know what I'm saying? Like, he could take a punch. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, I just don't think that.
And Teo's power doesn't even translate at 140.
No less translating at 140. Right. And he don't want to engage at 140 that much, let alone, and he can't stay away from Boots, right? But he is a good counter puncher. And,
I mean, Karen was able to do it for 12 rounds. You don't think Teo could match Karen's movement and agility and you know what I'm saying, and speed, and you don't think he could stay away from Boots for 12 rounds?
Yeah, I do. You know what I'm saying? I do, but I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, Karen lost every round.
100%.
Right?
Yeah, he ain't going to win that way.
Right. He ain't gonna,
that's two separate questions. Can he win that way? He can't win that way.
Right.
Can he survive 12 rounds?
I think that Boots will cut him off a lot. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, he could force Boots into a fight, and Teo is a good counter puncher.
Uh-huh.
So if he counter punches Boots, he's quicker than Karen, right? So if he could counter punch in between punches and make it interesting in that aspect, right?
Can he win rounds? Can he win rounds against Boots? Can a round go ding ding, walk away, and be like, that was Teo's round? Can that happen?
I think he can because of the exchanges. Like, if he gets in exchanges, because he could counter Boots in exchanges and make it look good, like Karen did, David Avanesian did. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how many rounds he could do it, but every now and then he could give you one. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, oh, all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, he won that round. You know what I mean? It's more so what Boots is not doing or don't do is the reason why he would win the round. You know what I'm saying? Not so much of him taking it. Boots would give him the opportunity and he could have it. You know what I'm saying? But can he absolutely go in there and take the round from Boots? Like Boots is not in control. You understand what I'm saying? Like, can he go in there
and force the predator in that fight? He's the predator, 100%. He's hunting down Teo. He's the danger. I don't think Teo presents danger for Boots.
Me neither.
But boxers who supposedly haven't presented danger have won fights against dangerous fighters.
Right. The brother Mark said, both y'all some clowns. Cool. You, welcome to the circus. The best part about this is, Mark, is I have the link. So you can click the link now, Mark, and tell us why we clowns. Let's see if you click the link and actually stand on your square. It's easy to not have a profile picture, not use your real name, and talk crap behind the keyboard. Now, let's see you turn your camera on, hit the link, come up here and tell us why we clowns. Let's see if you do that, because this is going to tell you who the real clown is. Deal, Mark. Don't time out. Don't block him. Don't do anything. King Kev, my brother in Super Chat, dropping that Cinco on us in the Super Chat. He says, shout out to Scull. He was robbed. The Canelo versus Crawford fight is really looking like it's going to be a boxing lesson. Crawford wins 9 rounds to 3. Oh, I think so too. I think that Crawford, I'm glad that, salute Keon. What's up, ETB? Whoa, what's up, family? He said, click the link with KO. I did that 10,000 times and already washed them. What are you, slow? You must be. You must be. And he came here and got washed. You must be slow. And why are you campaigning for somebody else? I'm talking to you. See, that's clown behavior. Why you why you campaigning for somebody else? Why don't you campaign for yourself? Now that's clown behavior. You see? You see how that works? That's the clown behavior. Brutal, what's up? You speaking for somebody else. See, respect the KO because he actually came here and clicked the link. You a grown man. Now, I'm talking to you. You speaking for, oh, you're both clowns. No, I'm telling you to click the link. Blasker Rob, what's up? You talking for somebody else. You're the clown. But Clay, did you see? Because you had to go to sleep, so we didn't get to do the Canelo fight.
Like a baby. I actually woke up late the next morning.
Did you?
I definitely did, Rob. I slept in. I hit the alarm. The alarm went off. I shut it off, blinked my eyes, opened my eyes, and an hour passed by. I was like, boy, what the hell?
Why, Mark? Because he keeps it real. He keeps it real. Why? Because he give you the GPS to Tank's nuts. So you could get on your knees, you clown. Click the link and stop speaking for somebody else. Jose Ayala, what's up? See, he give you the GPS to Tank's testicles. Right? He gave you the right directions. That's the only thing he did. Just is what it is. But anyway, Clay, what's your thoughts on the Canelo Scull fight? What you think about that?
I ain't gonna lie to you. I still ain't watched that fight yet, right? I watched the highlights. Here's my opinion on it, right? I watched the fight. I'm not gonna lie, I watched the fight, but I watched it doing stuff. I didn't sit down after the fight. I'm saying I watched it and I was doing whatever I was doing. And I was watching it, and
because you already knew the outcome. So it's
and plus I kind of understood the energy that Scull was moving around a lot, and that Canelo was having a hard time cutting the ring off and finding him. I do need to sit down and watch it. In all seriousness, no, I do need to sit down and watch it. I also want to watch the Fatal Fury with the sound on, because I keep hearing all this stuff about what Tarver and Jim Lampley and those guys were saying. I heard it was diabolical, so I need to watch it with the sound on. That being said, I feel like I have a hard time allowing William Scull to walk around an undisputed champion of the super middleweight division without him taking it from Canelo, right? If what I see was consistent throughout the whole fight, which was him staying on his legs, moving around, and just, having some decent exchanges at time to time. Although Canelo didn't do anything special in the fight, history has shown it's just hard for a fighter to come in and collect 4 belts off of another fighter. You know what I'm saying? And become an undisputed champion off of evading being knocked out for 12 rounds and not beating Canelo Alvarez in the sense of taking it to him at any point in the fight or out. I don't think he got robbed. I know you think he got robbed, that Scull got robbed. I don't feel like he got robbed. It could have went his way, though, for sure. It could have went his way for sure. depending on the judges. And I've stated in the past that it depends on what kind of judges you have. You have some judges who really value boxing and movement and scoring points and things of that nature. But you have other judges who are more into the significant punches. They're more into the pressure, ring generalship. They put more weight on those things. And if you have a lot of rounds that are kind of swing round type rounds, they'll probably lean towards the guy who is putting the other guy more in danger, who is, pressing the fight as they might see it. So it's a fight that I don't think was worth missing out on Canelo fighting Terrence for undisputed, and a fight that probably will be competitive. To throw William Scull in there, allow him to be an undisputed champion, ruin that big fight that's coming up, and then what? Now he's the guy to beat at 168. I don't know. You know what I mean? I wasn't upset with the decision.
So, and I get that, right? I get the part, where, it's upsetting that the apple card, and it derails the big fight.
Right.
But the problem that I have with it is we can't look at the Devin Haney fight and say Devin Haney outboxed Jose Ramirez in the same manner William Scull outboxed Canelo, and then say, well, he don't deserve it because of what's at stake on the back end. You know what I'm saying? Because the numbers was extremely close and the fight resembled each other. Canelo couldn't cut the ring off. You know what I'm saying? He made Canelo.
The Haney fight wasn't close.
Neither was the Canelo Williams Scull. Canelo wasn't landing anything. That dude was punching the ropes all night.
Right. No, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying like it was competitive maybe with Canelo and William Scull to the point to where they had to kind of lean towards Canelo because of the aggression, right? Because
that's what I'm saying. Because when you watch the fight,
Haney wasn't competitive.
Canelo Scull wasn't competitive. Canelo did nothing. He did absolutely nothing. He had maybe 3 moments best where he trapped Scull on the ropes and landed a couple of hooks to the body at best. After that, he couldn't hit William Scull at all. He swinging, hitting the ropes, Scull making a miss, slipping punches, countering with the jab, slip out. Now, I agree, William Scull wasn't very active, but neither was Devin Haney. Devin Haney landed 70 punches. I think Scull landed 50. Right? Jose Ramirez threw 100 more punches than Canelo did. Right? So, like, the fight resembled both fights. Like, Canelo, when you watch the fight, Scull actually stopped and nailed Canelo a few times. Bang, bang, and got back on his bike, right? I think that William Scull and Haney both used excessive movement, unnecessary movement that they didn't have to. Right. I think William Scull used unnecessary movement that he really didn't have to, right? But when you watch the fight, Canelo was punching the ropes all night long, just following him around, punching the ropes, following him around. Scull was laughing, standing in front of him. He never landed anything significant. Mm-hmm. He landed a couple of hooks to the body. That's it. That's all. So because of the position that both guys is in, because William Scull is the B side to Canelo being the A side, and Haney is the A side to Jose Ramirez being the B side with the big fights on the back end, then we don't give that you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's the same fight presented itself. Like, Canelo was hitting the rope, bang, bang. Every round, he made Canelo miss so wild and so drastic every single round that it was laughable. So a judge to say 119, 109 in favor of Canelo is bizarre. And again, I understand what's on the back end. And like you said, it's because of the performances in itself, we'll look at it and be like, that's going to derail the Terrence Crawford Canelo fight, right? But the thing is, where we go wrong is that we have to stay consistent with, it doesn't matter what's at stake,
right?
It just has to stay consistent.
Yeah, but how many champions? I've seen champions, right? You got to, I don't know. I was always under the understanding that you have to take.
But William Scull was the champion, don't forget.
Yeah, but I mean,
it was 2 champions in there.
I know, but I mean,
I know we know how he got it, but still in all,
I think
he was the champ.
Canelo the undisputed champion. William got an email championship. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but it is what it is, right? But I'm saying
he did. But remember, that's how Canelo got the WBC. He didn't beat Benavidez.
Yeah, but he's also a money machine.
That's what I'm saying. Because of the status, because of the stat. And I agree with you. You understand? Like, I agree because it's like, bro, do we want this William Scull to derail it? But because of that performance, but the truth is he outboxed Canelo. He outboxed him. But because of who he is, relatively unknown, he didn't beat Canelo for the belt. We don't give him credit. And that's a problem with it. That's like saying in basketball, like, man, all they did was shoot threes. When Michael Jordan won, he did it. You know what I'm saying? He did it the harder way. So we don't give them credit because all they did was shoot threes. That's why they went. It's like, bro, we got to stay consistent. And the sport of boxing don't stay consistent.
No, I mean, I think I think boxing, like a lot of people in pugilists have said, is the Wild Wild West.
1,000%.
And you have certain boxing pundits in the space who celebrate that. They're like, that kind of makes it interesting. That makes it fun. That's part of the intriguing part of boxing is the Wild Wild West aspect of it. I don't agree with that. I think structure in the sport is needed. I think that's how you build fan bases up. I think fans' ability to keep up with the sport and understand what they're looking at is what has them stay around. I think the Wild Wild West aspect of the sport is what's made it a hard sport to keep up with, and why people will watch boxing sometimes and not watch it all because it don't make no difference. Ain't no season, ain't no ranking structure honored. There's no man, you know what I mean? There's nothing that means anything. A champion don't got to fight in the mandatories. Championships don't matter. Fighters who aren't champions will easily be A side over fighters who are champions. You know what I'm saying? Like in negotiations, like it gets crazy. And then each sanctioning body has about 4 or 5 different damn belts. You know what I'm saying? And you don't know what the hell the belts are. There's interim champions, there's super champions, there's regular champions, there's intercontinental champions, there's silver champions. There's
right.
You know
It's just like right now they calling Rolly a 3-division champion, and I'm like,
right. He's calling himself that. It's like I don't want to hate on him because I really, for the most part, celebrate Rolly. I think
and too, Clay. Don't forget the whole build-up while we was at the fights. They kept calling Teofimo Lopez undisputed.
Right. They did that. That was diabolical that they did that in the actual presser that the host actually said that. I was like, what? Y'all gonna do that?
Multiple times.
It's one thing for Teo to say it because he's always on some technically, I'm Joshua Taylor. Josh Taylor was, he never got beat by his belts. He was stripped of his belts or vacated. And, technically this with Loma, he could think whatever he wants to think for himself. But I always thought there was an understanding, amongst in the boxing space that this man was not undisputed. But yeah, once again, just bringing it full circle, just the Wild Wild West aspect of the sport is always there. So in a close fight,
I'll be right back, Clay. Go ahead, keep going.
Right. In a close fight with a William Scull, Canelo Alvarez, there's no way in the world they're gonna let William Scull walk away as an undisputed champion and take that away from a Canelo Alvarez, take away those paydays that the sanctioning bodies are there to make on a Canelo Alvarez based off of technicality of maybe some point system or something or whatever have you that would have William Scull walk around as, once again, the fighter to beat at 168. Like, the undisputed champion at 168. This guy came out of nowhere. No, he was going to have to take that title. He's going to have to take that. He's going to have to take those 3 titles and keep that IBF title through war, through competition, through beating and fighting Canelo Alvarez, not through some technicality to where his athleticism made it to where he didn't even have to engage for 12 rounds. Just the ability to make Canelo miss punches would be enough to make him a champion, right? It just wasn't going to happen. It just wasn't going to happen. He would have had to stop Canelo. Captain, I'm not going to say he would have to stop Canelo, but I would say he would have to beat on him. He'd have to punch on him. He'd have to take that from him. It'd have to be clear cut, no argument, win, not no technicality type nonsense. You know what I mean? It's just not going to happen. Right? Yeah, Scull already had a belt though, right? Yeah, I mean, he did have a belt based off the fact that Canelo Alvarez didn't want to fight him because he wasn't worth no money, and he knew he was probably going to run around and do what he did. And he took a fight with Edgar Berlanga for more money that made more sense towards his brand. And William Scull, as a byproduct of that, ended up elevating to an IBF champion or fighting somebody for a vacated IBF title. It is what it is, I guess. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Me personally, though, like I said, guys, I'm not upset at that decision. I'm sorry. I'm not upset. I don't feel like Scull got robbed. From what I was watching, Scull should have tried to become a champion and should have known what it takes to become a champion against Canelo Alvarez. He should have known who he was in the ring with and understood he should have understood the weight of his movement, the weight of moving around and looking like you're running and you don't want to engage in fight. Man, you should have known the odds were stacked against you anyway, being that you're somebody who nobody ever heard of fighting against somebody who's the literal face of the era that you're in boxing space, right? It is what it is. You know what I mean? He should have did the work. Salute to Just Do. What's good, fam? Let's see. Another level bully said Canelo is too slow for Crawford. Guys, I was talking about on the show a little bit earlier today, but I want to ask Blue when he gets back, does the performance that Canelo Alvarez that just have against William Scull put perspective on the Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez fight, right? Does it make the fight more competitive? Me personally, I've already picked Terence Crawford to win against Canelo Alvarez. That's what I'm going with, right? There's no secret to what I think. I think Terence Crawford is a special fighter, and special fighters do special things. That's where I'm at with it. We'll see on September 12th how much weight we'll see come September 12th if my opinion ages well. But my question is for the non-believers or the people who thought that this fight didn't make any sense because Terence Crawford was going up a couple of weight classes. Well, does the performance that Canelo put on against William Scull, combined with the performances he put against Edgar Berlanga and Jaime Munguia and all those performances, does this put any type of perspective on the fight as far as the competitive nature of the fight? Is it competitive or more competitive coming out of the William Scull fight than it was going into the William Scull fight? I think Terence Crawford sat in the crowd, and I think he saw a lot of opportunities that he could capitalize off of watching him struggle against the athleticism of William Scull. Not to say that Terence Crawford would run around the ring like William Scull did, but I think he sees opportunities for his athleticism to help him not only win the fight as far as his movement, but also be able to take advantage of a Canelo Alvarez who's going to have openings based off him throwing punches as far as being a counter puncher, right? I think it definitely puts some perspective on that. Harlem says absolutely more, 100%. Okay, no doubt. Okay. What did Mr. Wayne said? Not me. I had Crawford before the Scull performance from Kenny. Yeah, me too. Yeah, definitely. Ron J says the slow pace going to get him beat. Crawford can outwork Canelo with his slow feet. Yeah, I think what happened in that fight exposed a lot of people look at Canelo. It's funny how people work, right? Like, for example, like Manny Pacquiao is about to fight Mario Barrios, right, guys? And what's going to happen? What you're going to see is there's going to be people picking Manny Pacquiao to beat Mario Barrios easily, right? Why? Because they're going to compare Manny Pacquiao, who fought, you know what I'm saying, years ago, and they're going to think that this athletic version of him is still going to be just as athletic against a younger Mario Barrios, right? It is what it is. They're not going to do the right thing, which is count him on the last fight he really did have, and how he got beat by a no-name Asian dude who we never heard of, and that athleticism is the first thing to go with age. Strength and power is the last thing to go. Manny Pacquiao is not going to be that fighter. Canelo Alvarez is older. He's not younger, and he's been in a lot of fights. So in boxing years, in fight years, he's even older than he is on paper because of the wear and tear that he's dealt with. And the reality is Canelo Alvarez hasn't stopped somebody hasn't knocked somebody out in forever, right? Like he stopped Caleb Plant, but he hasn't knocked somebody out. Caleb Plant, one can argue, went out on his own shield just based off of really exhaustion, right? Conditioning. He faded out in the later rounds and just couldn't move and couldn't compete at that same level. He faded away. Canelo Alvarez is not as athletic as he was. He may punch as hard as he ever has punched before, but he's nowhere near as athletic as Terence Crawford is, coming up from a 154 weight class division. When you think about it, I doubt that Terence Crawford will even come in on the scales to be 168 at the weigh-ins. I bet you Terence comes in like 164. You know what I'm saying? 164, 163, 166. He'll probably come in around that weight. He's going to be in great shape. He knows his movement and his legs need to be there under him. He knows Terence Crawford's IQ. He's cerebral enough to understand his strengths and his weaknesses. Terence Crawford is nowhere near a delusional fighter. He's not a fighter who believes he can do stuff he can't do. He operates in his space in his strengths. He does this. So he knows what he brings to the table and he plans on capitalizing on that. Is Canelo Alvarez going to be able to match that athleticism and turn that into rounds? Because I think this is very well will go 12 rounds. More than likely will go 12 rounds. Out of 12 rounds, is Canelo Alvarez going to win at a minimum 7 out of those 12 rounds to walk away with a victory? Or is Terence Crawford more than likely to walk away with the majority of the rounds as far as winning rounds are concerned? Right? I don't know. I think Terence will. And I think somebody put the question in here a little bit earlier about whether or not Terence Crawford could stop Canelo Alvarez. I believe he can. I believe if Canelo is over aggressive, just like what Terence said to Errol Spence, if he crosses that line, I think Terence Crawford has the ability to make Canelo pay. And I think one punch knockout isn't the only way to stop somebody in boxing. I think people forget that. I think punishment, getting hit. Anybody remember what happened between Floyd Mayweather and Arturo Gatti? Yeah. It's not always about power. It's not always about power, necessarily one punch power. Bludgeoning, consistent punches can put Canelo in a very compromised position in this fight. It could put him in a very compromised position in this fight to where a referee may have a hard decision to make in the later rounds in this fight. So I think this fight is going to be very interesting. Fight of the year candidate quality. I pray, inshallah, that this fight meets the expectations on the competitive nature of the fight. Going in it thinking that Terence Crawford is going to win the fight is my prerogative and where I stand on it, but also understanding Terence Crawford very well lose this fight. He's going up, 2 weight classes to fight the face of boxing in Canelo Alvarez. So obviously that's on the table, but no matter what, I want this fight to be a fight of the year candidate, super competitive fight, and want those guys to leave it all in the ring in the spirit of legacy in the history books, right? Let me see here. T-Bugs, Harlem, going out on a limb saying Bud can stop and KO Canelo. No doubt, Harlem Mike, I'm right there with you, man. I think this fight is going to be a draw 50-50. Khalil, do you mean it's going to be a draw, or do you mean this fight is 50-50 as far as who can win? I would hate for this fight to end in a draw. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't want that to happen at all. V. Ferreira, anyone can get stopped. I just think it's unlikely. A decision is another story. I got you, V. Ferreira. That makes sense. Happy Valley Farm says Bus is Bud, I'm assuming, is a fierce competitor. Dice, wrestling, dominoes, track, basketball, etc. 100%. He's going to come in there to win, man. Antonio MMA said people forget how Cotto's brother hurt Canelo. People have a lot of short memories when it comes to things like this. And some of it is based off of their understanding of the sport, but a lot of it be based off of just straight hate, right? Just, they don't want him to win. Well, I'm trying to remember the show. I think it was on Friday where Mike Epps was like, he ain't gonna get it. I think Ice Cube was gonna get a phone number, and he was like, don't go over there. You ain't gonna even get it. You ain't gonna get a number. They ain't gonna let you get it. You ain't gonna get it. You ain't gonna get it. I hope you don't get it. You know what I'm saying? That's what Mike Epps said in the scene. That's what happens with a lot of these boxing fans, right? A lot of these boxing fans get caught up in their personal animosity. Let's be honest. It's all connected to Terence Crawford's win over Errol Spence, right? So a lot of people have been, wishing bad juju on Terence Crawford ever since the negotiations went the way they did between Errol Spence before they even got in the ring, and the victory and the way Terrence Crawford got the victory put even more salt in the wound. So there's a lot of animosity in there, and a lot of people. I think the people who sit there and say that this fight is stupid is just out their minds, right? To say you think one fighter is going to win over another fight is one thing, but to say that this is a dumb fight, that's just straight nasty ass hate. Just don't make no sense. It's just hate that it's fighter like Terrence Crawford to be at the level that he is. You know what I'm saying? At that level, the pound for pound status that he's earned himself, that he can't compete with Canelo, even on the back end, it being a loss potentially, that the fight is stupid and don't make no sense. No, man, that's a lot of personal animosity. That's nonsense. That eliminates you from certain conversations, because we know you're just hating. You're going to say things just off the strength of hate. So we don't even need to talk to you like that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Third simple NSU, my brother in super chat. I think Bud versus Canelo looks like the Porter fight. I think it's going to be a lot cleaner.
Yeah, way cleaner. He was willing and could afford to play with Sean Porter a little bit more. Not to say that he took Sean Porter lightly, but let's just say when he found out the fight was closer than he thought it was, look how he switched, right? Mm-hmm. Imagine if you would have had that mentality, you know what I'm saying, from the beginning of the fight. You could tell that he was fighting a fight based off of, let's have fun, let's compete. Not that, once again, respectfully, not saying he was playing with Sean Porter, but just to see how quickly he hit that switch when he got the word that he was possibly down on the cards. He stopped smiling. Look how quickly the tides changed inside of minutes of that round.
For him, it wasn't. There was no animosity. There was no. Right. It was just a sport.
Salute. Let's give the fans something, right? Let's give the fans something. Let's make it happen.
Salute to the Queen, Margarita Rose. Peace and blessings, Queen. She in the super chat dropping that cinco on us in the super chat. She said, "Hey, Blue and Claymore, blessings, Queen. How you feeling?"
Peace, Queen. Salute to you.
So I personally think it's going to be a lot cleaner than I think it's going to look a lot like the Victor Postol fight when he fought Victor Postol, Bredis Prescott. People forget that the Victor Postol, Bredis Prescott fights was very similar to the threat that they perceived, right? He took the Bredis Prescott fight on short notice, and Bob Arum told him if he lose, that he's done with them. You know what I'm saying? Victor Postol was seen as the boogeyman, the big puncher. Terrence Crawford was scared. He dropped him twice. Terrence Crawford, when you have a specific type of threat, he'll be a boxer. He's so versatile and so skilled and so talented that he can give you so many different looks. And I think that people are overlooking that because when he fights guys like Hank Lundy or Yuriorkis Gamboa, and he gets into firefights, right? And then Igis Kavalauskas, right, where he don't respect his opponents. Israel Madrimov with the herky-jerky stuff, right? And I think that people confuse that with how he's going to fight every single fight, and that's not the case. You understand? Like, he is so versatile, right? He was a counterpuncher with Errol Spence, right? With Gamboa, Igis Kavalauskas, he was the aggressor. He was the aggressor with Israel Madrimov. You know what I'm saying? So he can give you so many different looks. What I saw from Canelo, what I always saw, hence the reason why I've been Sylvester Anderson, Shalom King, AK Crowder, my brother, Denzel Horton, what's up? Lucy Fall, what's up? So what I saw is what I've been seeing from the very beginning is that Canelo Alvarez flaws Terrence Crawford can expose.
Yeah.
He has the ability to expose all the flaws that Canelo Alvarez has. He has slow feet, right? I've been saying this, right? I've been saying this to Kurt. Rest in peace to the late, great, legendary, iconic Hall of Famer in my eyes, Kurt Anderson, a.k.a. Kurt Sugar, my brother. Antonio MMA, what's up? PJ's Big Dog, what's up? Kurt used to tell me, he said, Blue, I think Canelo got better. And I used to say, yeah, he got better at choosing his opponents. And what I meant by that is mentally he understood his limitations, right? to give you an example in real life, right? A man could choose women, right? You got money, so on and so forth. You keep getting in these relationships with these beautiful women that at the end of the day it don't work out because they're taking the money, whatever, right? And you keep getting these divorces, right? Finally, you find a specific woman. She's completely different than what the Goats, what's up? Then Harlem Mike, what's up, family? Then what everybody's typically used to. PGH Big Dog, what's up? And now the relationship lasts. It's not because of the woman, it's because you got better at choosing the woman, right? You understood who you are, right? You didn't fit with those women. You fit with this type of woman, okay? And that's the same thing with Canelo. Frequent Frequency, what's up? Flyer Frequency, what's up? Canelo Alvarez and Eddie Reynoso has got to the understanding that this style does not suit us good unless they have a flaw that we can exploit, a la Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant, Billy Joe Saunders. They're boxers, but they have major flaws, right? Caleb Plant flaw, is that he don't have the stamina to uphold for 12 rounds. He fades. That's cool. Mm-hmm. You gave it to him already? Oh. You give it now? Oh, okay. He doesn't have D Howard, what's up? T Buzz, what's up, family? Todd Duce, what's up? Caleb Plant has historically shown us he's a very good fighter, right? A very good boxer. But when you get him in the late rounds, he fades, right? He's not the same guy in the first 6 rounds as he is in the last 6 rounds. 100%. We've seen that. Oh, that's beautiful. And we've seen that against even when he beat Jose Uzcategui. When you watch the second half of the Uzcategui fight, he outclassed him in the first half and then slowed down drastically in the second.
As the fight went on. Yeah,
David Benavidez, right, Clay? How he was outclassing David Benavidez the first half of the fight, and then he drastically slowed down, right? He has those flaws. Billy Joe Saunders, same thing, right? And Billy Joe Saunders tested positive for banned substance. And they make mistakes. When he fights guys that are not going to make mistakes in the second half of the fight, that gives him an opportunity with his pressure, he don't fare well. A la Floyd Mayweather, a la Arislandi Lara, a la Dimitri Bivol, right? So what they did was they said, we're going to stay clear of these dudes. And remember, he let the cat out the bag. Donnell Bell, what's up? Clay? Via Ferrer, what's up? Cali 1K, what's up? Remember, Clay, he let the cat out the bag. When he was asked about Crawford, remember he said, I didn't like his style to fight him because he moved too much. But after I watched the Mandramal fight, he slowed down a lot. I like the fight. Because now, Big Chris 757, what's up? Because now you understand if he slows down, it gives me an opportunity to do what I do because I can't keep up with that style, especially somebody who's masterclass and has power and ring IQ to do it for 12 rounds.
Right.
And that's what Terrence Crawford possesses. So he got better. So when I watched the William Scull fight, it showed me once again, I wish Kirk was here so I could say it. There it is again, right? It showed his ugly. Bivol didn't move as much, Clay. He moved a lot, but he gave him opportunities to try to counter him, right? Like he would lay on the ropes, let Canelo come in so he could try to catch him, right?
Right.
And then if he couldn't catch him, then he'd pivot back into the center ring and get back on his bike, right? And get back to boxing. Another level bull, what's up? But William Scull did it for 12 rounds, and you saw the frustration again. You saw the glaring hole in his game. You saw that. I know Terrence Crawford, Clay, had to be licking his chops ringside like, bruh. Because I could duplicate. Terrence Crawford could duplicate the same exact thing, but add offense. A little more offense.
I was saying that when you got off before. That I was asking the chat, did they believe that does that performance against William Scull put perspective on the competitive nature of that fight between Terrence and, like I said, me and you have already put our calls in. We feel Terrence is going to win. But, you know, the pushback we've always gotten is how this fight's not going to be competitive and Terrence is going to weight classes and this, that, and the other. Well, does that can you picture Terrence being able to more efficiently do what William Scull did against Canelo Alvarez, but actually, like you said, add some offense to it, score effective punching and walk away with more than 6 rounds when it's all said and done? The Blue, I don't know if you answered, but do you think Terrence can stop Canelo?
I think he can. But that's like the rubber meeting the road. Like, I don't know if he will. I think he can, right? Margarita Rose, she said Bivol gave him the blueprint. No, Floyd actually laid the blueprint. Then Erislandy Lara even made it even more glaring. Right. And then he stopped fighting that style, right? For a while. Even Austin Trout was showing it, right? But do I think he could stop him? I do. I don't think he will. Let me tell you why. Mig Sidious, what's up? Jose Ayala, what's up? Bibi, what's up? I don't think he will. Let me tell you why, Clay. Because Bomac and Terrence Crawford pretty much tell you what they're gonna do, right? They tell you, then they don't really, unless their opponent, you know, makes them, you know, divvy from the game plan, they pretty much stick to it, right? When they tell you he gonna dog you, he dog you. When they tell you he gonna box, when they told us he gonna box Victor Post style ears off, he did. You know what I'm saying? I don't think when Crawford said, I ain't gotta knock him out, I just gotta outpoint him. You know what I'm saying? It kind of tells me his mentality. Right. I'm gonna get his attention. Right. I'm gonna hit him with something, and I'm gonna get his attention.
And what do you think? Like, because I was gonna say he has to get the respect, or he has to discourage Canelo from walking him down and just attempting to. Terrence doesn't want to be on his bicycle the whole fight. He wants to be able to box and have moments. Terrence is competitive like that, but in order to be able to do that with Canelo Alvarez, you got to get the respect. Somewhere in that fight, Terrence is gonna have a moment to where Canelo becomes cerebral. And you have to force him to become cerebral, because I think Canelo's instinct is going to first be brute force, right? But you're going to have to discourage that. What punch do you think Terrence is going to bring to the table? Do you think is it going to be power that he's able to deliver as far as?
I can tell you right now, right off the top, I already know.
I hope you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking. Go ahead.
Yeah. Kai Fly said it seemed like you Michael judging Canelo. Yeah, I am, because Canelo is perceived to be the biggest threat, the ace, the favorite. That Terrence Crawford is the underdog. Like he's got a. So yeah, that's why we're micro dosing. You know what I'm saying? Micro judging Canelo, right? But I know the 2 punches he's going to use. He's going to use the sweeping right hook and the jab to the solar plex.
Yep.
He's going to stab Canelo to the body. We seen William Scull do it. He just didn't stick to it, right? Terrence Crawford is going to jab, and Terrence Crawford's arms are longer than William Scull, believe it or not. He's going to jab him to the body, boom, because that jab to the center of Canelo's solar plex freezes him, right? When he freezes him, he's going to feint that and come over with the right hook, right? Because Canelo's going to stay in that high guard, right? But his high guard is weird, right? It's not earmuffs.
Right.
It's like out here, right? So he gives you the hook. You know what I mean? Because he got short arms, right? So he don't want to have to come from here. He much rather have his hands in front of him. That's why he kind of buckles over like this, where he could just shoot it straight at you, right? You don't want to. He don't want to come make the distance longer to travel. Lou Hinton, a pillar of this Blue Blood Sports TV. What's up, right? So, with that said, he's going to be like this because he wants to walk. He's going to try to walk Terrence Crawford down like he did William Scull. But Terrence Crawford is not going to deviate from the game plan, right? Nothing Canelo do is going to force Terrence Crawford to deviate from the game plan. So he's going to stab Canelo Alvarez to the body with that jab, boom, freeze him, and he'll come straight down the pipe with a straight right hand. But more importantly, he's going to throw that hook because he's quick enough to throw the hook, whether it lands or not, to get out the way of Canelo Alvarez hook, because Canelo wants to throw the hook. His counterpunch is the hook. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wants to throw that hook. And he wants to trap Terrence Crawford on the ropes and throw the hooks to the body. You know what I'm saying? When he goes to do that, those hooks to the body, Bud is going to William Scull did it, right? Where he blasted Canelo with an uppercut. Bang! But he wasn't confident and committed enough to do it consistently, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bud is going to land that uppercut. Yaka! And he has more power. And the thing is, his angles, because he's so ambidextrous, right? He can do it from the right or the left, right? So the angles he give Canelo Alvarez is going to make Canelo very uncomfortable. With his arm reach and his power is going to make Canelo very, very uncomfortable. Teach, what's up? Derail 612, what's up? That's going to slow. The best thing for Terrence Crawford, or for Shoe Everything, what's up, is that he's going to force the pace to be slow because he has enough power to get Canelo Alvarez respect, where Canelo Alvarez is not going to just be a bull in the china shop, right? Canelo was getting frustrated with Scull. That's why he started just like, you know what I'm saying? He ain't going to do that with Crawford because he knows he make a mistake with Crawford. Dante Bastator, what's up? He could get hurt seriously. Third simple NSU brother in super chat. How would the boxing world react to Bud stopping Canelo? They would go bananas. But what's your thoughts on it, Clay?
I think Bud's respect comes from his. Bud's respect comes from his ability to deliver those body shots. I think the body campaign is an underrated campaign. I think this year, in the end of last year, you're starting to see a lot more body work being done in boxing. I think it's an underrated it's an underrated strategy to approaching fighters to get that respect, right? It's what's going on here? Wait, hold on. You guys still see me, right? Yeah, I think you guys still see me. All right, cool. And I think that body campaign is going to be the difference maker in this fight. I think people are wondering about how Terrence Crawford can stop Canelo Alvarez or hurt Canelo Alvarez, right? We'll just say hurt, not stop. But a lot of people don't believe Terrence Crawford can hurt Canelo. I think those people I don't want to, being respectful. I don't want to say that people are delusional, but I think people are a little one-dimensional in their view of how boxing works. Floyd Mayweather was able to get Canelo Alvarez's respect, and he wasn't the bigger puncher in the fight between Canelo and himself. He was able to do it because of the body work. He was stabbing that body, constantly working, putting money in the bank, and ultimately was discouraging Canelo Alvarez from walking him down. And I think Terrence Crawford has the same ability to do that. And I think he can hurt him there. And I think giving Canelo Alvarez something to think about is where Terrence Crawford can operate and become the cerebral fighter, who I think will be the more cerebral fighter in that fighter between him and Canelo. I think Canelo is a great fighter, man, a great boxer, great dance partner, is a thinker in his own right. But I think in the war of wits, matching wits with Terrence Crawford, I think he falls short in that war. I think his ability to pressure and break Terrence Crawford is where his victory is aligned with. That's where his victory comes in, his ability to do that. But Terrence Crawford's ability to slow that fight down, make it cerebral, and have Canelo thinking in there, that's the way he wins the fight. And I think Terrence can do that efficiently. I think he can. I think he's going to do it. And I think if he does stop Canelo, man, I think the body's going to have a lot to do with it. Man. Antonio MMA says it's not even that, Clay. The thing is, there's some guys that can't take a baseball bat to the dome and that can take a baseball bat to the dome and keep pushing. But them internal organs, that liver, that stomach, no man can take that. 100%, Antonio MMA. And I think people keep on putting weight on this granite chin thing, right? And they're like, you got a granite chin. Terrence ain't gonna be able to knock him out. And you guys are forgetting about how lethal a liver shot is, how diabolical a liver shot is, right? Put down the best, hardest punching, put him down. I'll never forget when Bernard Hopkins hit Oscar De La Hoya with that liver shot and how Oscar De La Hoya reacted to that, right? Not to say that Bernard Hopkins didn't have the ability to knock Oscar De La Hoya out and hit him in his chin, but you watch how the body shuts down from a liver shot. And I don't think anybody has truly attacked Canelo Alvarez's body enough for us to really get a sound diagnosis one way or the other, right? Or hypothesis one way or another, or any sound data one way or the other, as far as how he's going to deal with a real body campaign. You know what I mean? I don't think it's happened, man. And I think Bud is going to tap into that energy. I think that diabolical, cerebral genius of a trainer he has in Bomac is watching film, and I'm telling you, I can't help but believe that they're going to be like, yeah, this is where the difference is going to be made at. This is how we're going to get it done. We're gonna attack that body. We're gonna move around. We're gonna spin him. And we're gonna move. It's gonna be frustrating, but what's gonna really happen is we plan on capitalizing, and we're gonna take every championship round for sure. And we're probably gonna start turning the tides in this fight to where it looks like we're moving around, but we're really not. Probably by round 4 or 5, you're gonna see a change in Canelo Alvarez's approach, and I think that body campaign is gonna start to resonate and make a difference. You're gonna start seeing it.
It's going to slow him down in the second half of the fight, big time.
They're going to take every championship round, bro. They're going to make it hard for a judge to give Canelo that fight. They're going to make it to where that man, I think by the time the fight's over with, it's going to be, if he doesn't stop him, Blue, I think it's going to be, man, 1 more round, 2 more rounds. I don't think he could have lasted. It's going to be one, you know what I'm trying to say? Like 1 or 2 more rounds, he would have got him out of there. People are going to be like, why didn't he start that earlier? Why didn't he, you know what I mean? They're going to be saying like that, not understanding that it was a war of attrition. It was chess. It was started earlier. It takes that long for it to, we're going to find out how tough Canelo is. I think Canelo's toughness is going to be tested in this fight, legitimately.
I think that his stamina, he already has slow feet, right?
Right.
And Bud is going to stay so committed to that jab to the body, consistent. It's going to slow him down so drastic. He's going to look discouraged.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that he's going to put himself in position. Motown 909, what's up? L Dub, the boxing plug in the building. What's up, family? I don't think that he's going to put himself in position to be knocked out because you know what I'm saying? Like, he takes big punches from Triple G, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
I think like he'll rather be inactive than to be active enough to Bud counter him and put himself in position to get knocked out. Mm-hmm. I think afterwards he's gonna say, "Oh, he was moving," he's gonna make some sort of excuse. But that's what I think is gonna happen.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's gonna happen big time, and people are gonna be surprised.
Yeah, this is a fight that needs to happen, man. People talk about this fight being stupid and it don't make no sense. And I think out the strength of how many people aren't able to see a route for victory for Terrence Crawford or see how competitive this fight is, that's why this fight needs to happen. People have to, we talk about American boxing and the culture of American boxing and how it's been led astray and how many fans, newer fans who have stepped into the space on the back end of seeing a Gervonta Tank Davis perform or an Errol Spence perform. And this is what brought them into the sport and made them fans of the sport. I think they haven't seen enough aspects of the sport. They haven't seen enough amazing things. They didn't watch Manny Pacquiao go from 8 pounds. What did he start off at? Like somewhere down there, right? And end up all the way up as high as 154 pounds, stopping people.
108.
He started at 108, right?
Mm-hmm.
And make it all the way up to 147, 154, stopping people like Margarito and Shane Mosley. What did he fight, Margarito?
Yeah, he stopped Margarito and Cotto.
Yeah, he did stop Margarito. Fighting Shane Mosley and stopping Oscar De La Hoya and making Floyd Mayweather want him tested with Olympic style testing because how devastating his power was, which is another conversation as far as where you guys stand on what that looked like. But as far as and I also want to talk about that as well. I want to talk about that Top Rank card. I want to talk about Monster Inoue's performance on Sunday night. That guy is boxing. He's like he's like I mean, pause, right? Respectfully. I was gonna say dessert or I can't. He's just a pleasure to watch fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is such a pleasure. And to watch him fight it's just you know what I mean? It's a gift that keeps on giving with Inoue. That fight he had Sunday night against Ramos Cardenas, I believe his name is, from out of Texas. That fight was just pure, unadulterated boxing porn. Pause. If anybody wants to, I don't want nobody taking the wrong way. But I'm just saying, watching that fight from beginning to end was it was just a pleasure. It was a pleasure to watch that. People are talking about how he's giving the energy of a Manny Pacquiao, right? As far as his impact on the sport, as far as his approach to the sport. I thought that was funny and significant because, he got knocked down in the second round, right? But was it me, or did he recover like a G and come back like he didn't even get hurt? So that being said, how much in common might he have with Manny Pacquiao? I'm just saying, just off observation. I don't want to put a bad jacket on him, but that man, the way he recovered, and he got buckled a couple times in the fight. He got hit with some shots, but just kept coming forward. Relentless forward movement, offensive, relentless power, high punch output, all the way until the end.
Well, the two things I look at with Inoue. 1,000% super exciting, right? No ifs, ands, or buts about it. The problem is level of opponent, right? Bud was exciting against Igor Kavalauskas. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you don't respect your opponent. Can Inoue do that and survive against better opposition? Right? If Nonito Donaire wasn't older, he wins that fight.
Right.
Right? But you can see he's old. You know what I'm saying? But with that said, I think that as far as like speculations and so on and so forth with Inoue, we got to factor in the fact that Cardenas also faded, right? He's
a human being.
He started becoming predictable, right? Just winging the left hook, and Inoue saw it, and he stopped going to the body. When he was going to Inoue body, it was very, very telling, right? He stopped doing it. So I want to see Inoue have the same output, the same energy, and the same aggression with somebody that's going to return it. Right? Like that dude, Junto Nakatani, right? Shushu. These dudes that ring IQ is different, stamina is different. They ain't going to fade. Once they found a hole and an opening in your game, they're going to keep exploiting it. That's when I got to see him against those dudes. Yes, he's exciting. No doubt. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, right? But also, he did it with a guy he saw that was fading and not on his level, right? He started pressing Cardenas, and Cardenas, you could see it. He started to succumb to the pressure in the moment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He started starting the rounds off stepping back. Right? As soon as the round started, he started walking back. Like, bro, your success is coming forward. That's why his corner was like, bro, are you gonna come forward or not? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing? So I love what Inoue is doing for the sport. Yeah, he did beat Scooter, and Scooter went over to Japan and he lost, so on and so forth. But Scooter also looked like he had no resistance, right? Like the moment was too big for him, right? Like he looked shell shock. Did he look like the guy that just fought Fundora? I mean, Brandon Figueroa? No. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it was the power of Inoue or not, but he didn't look like that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Nonetheless, that's not no slight to that's not Inoue fault, right? You know what I'm saying? That's Scooter fault. But you know, the facts just remains. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? I got to see him do it, you know, with opposition and just not gonna fold, man. Guys that's gonna press the fight, they ain't gonna fold. They gonna come to fight. You know what I'm saying? I just gotta see him do that, man.
It looks like, you know, he's saying that he has aspirations of unifying a 126-pound division. He wants to be a 3-weight class undisputed champion.
And I don't think he could do it without taking a loss.
I think he's going to lose too, but I think I'm excited to see him try. You feel me? I'm excited to see the journey. I'm excited to see it. I've been campaigning and talking about 126 pounds now for like the past 6+ months. You know what I'm saying? Speaking on, you know, the inevitable thing that I saw coming, which was Monster Inoue coming to 126. You know what I'm saying? I just believed he was going to do it. Some people doubted it or whatever have you, but it was just like, it was inevitable that he was going to end up in this way because of the kind of fighter he is. He's driven. He's driven, and I would love to see him in the ring with Angelo Leo or Nick Ball or even Shushu Carrington. The boogeyman at 126 now, and for me, he's earned it at this point, but definitely interested in your opinion on Rafael Espinoza at 126. This guy is a monster, a legitimate towering inferno. He's everything I think any Sebastian Fundora fan wants of Sebastian Fundora, right? And I say that because he's better than Sebastian Fundora, I think he's just better than Sebastian Fundora. But this guy comes out of nowhere last year, the year before last year, upsets Robeisy Ramirez, takes that title, puts him down in the later rounds, faced adversity, got put down himself and was hurt, survived, walked through it. The man's stamina, the man's punch output, the man's relentless aggression, his punch, his shot selection, the combinations, his body work. I mean, he's just a dangerous fighter all around. Dangerous fighter. How do you feel about this guy at 126 pounds? I got a fantasy fight in my mind, and I wanted to tell Shushu this when we met up with him this weekend or last week, right? I wanted to say to him, yo, bro, I think I did tell him the fight the fight that nobody knows they want and nobody knows they need to see is Shushu Carrington versus Rafael Espinoza. That's a fight. That's a fight of the year candidate. That's the fight that nobody knows they want to see yet. They don't know. They don't know yet until they see the fighter. That's the fight you want to see more than any other fight right now. And the winner of that fight is the best 126-pound fighter in the division. Unified or not, however you want to look at it. They're the best fighter. What do you think about that?
Remember, Shushu said he wants to fight. Remember when you asked him?
Yeah.
He was like, I told him I want to fight. I want to make that fight ASAP. That's a great fight.
That fight is just, I'm all in. And you know it's not going to be on pay-per-view. That's one of those fights like, and now with Shushu having that Turkey cosign, that Ring Magazine ambassador fight, he brings the reward to the table, right? Personally, I believe Shushu goes ahead and knocks off Ray Vargas, takes that WBC title. We know that Scooter's decided that he wants to move up in weight and compete against O'Shaquie Foster, which I think is diabolical. I really wish he'd have chose to stay and fight at 126, but I mean,
fight Shushu.
Yeah, I don't know why he would leave. He's giving he's giving the feeling that maybe the weight cut is bad for him at 126, just as bad as it was at 122. So look, man, you know, I'm all for, if you can't make the weight anymore, go up to the next weight class. Don't stay. You don't want to stay anywhere too long. But at the end of the day, that would have been a great fight. But that being said, okay, fine. Shushu fights Ray Vargas for that, because Ray Vargas is the WBC champion in recess. He's really actually the champion. So if he beats Ray Vargas and becomes a champion, I'm loving unification fight, Shushu Carrington, Rafael Espinoza. I'm loving it. I'm loving it, bro. You know what I mean? And one more fantasy fight, AO, Nick Ball. I know you fighting who you got to fight, but bro, let's make it happen. You, Angela Leo, let's unify those belts as well. Let's invite and welcome Monster Inoue into a hornet's nest of a division where he has an opportunity to become undisputed and fight the winner between Nick Ball and Angela Leo. And then after beating whoever that winner is, I think he's capable of beating both those guys. You know what I'm saying? Let you be a unified champion. Let's see you fight the winner between Rafael Espinosa and Shushu Carrington. Let's have an undisputed title fight, one of the biggest and most exciting fights that could be made right now, which would be Monster Inoue versus Shushu Carrington for all-in undisputed, or even Monster Inoue versus Rafael Espinosa for undisputed. Let's do it. What do you think?
Do you think Inoue makes it happen though?
As far as wins?
No, he go up there and actually fight these dudes?
Yes. I think as long as, yes. I don't think Inoue's scared or I think, yes. That's one fight. I'm telling you, Monster just checks those boxes.
First, before we go too far, do you think after what we saw with Cardenas, there's a chance MJ might upset Inoue?
It's there. It's there. 100%. And he has to go through Nakatani too. He wants to fight Nakatani as well.
I don't think he's gonna beat Nakatani.
Nakatani's coming up a weight class to fight at 122. Inoue is the puncher. Nakatani's a puncher as well, but Inoue will be the puncher in the ring that night, I believe. I believe he'll be the puncher.
But Nakatani is rangy. He's big.
You're right. You're right.
I think Nakatani should have been at 22.
Right. Me too. Inoue's about to get so much money. So much money, Blue. Like, he's about to get money. Yo, low key, Monster Inoue is the face of world boxing. Like, Canelo's the face of boxing, you know what I'm saying? But I think it's a very stateside type of energy, being that he's just really getting his international feet wet. You know what I'm saying? Fighting in Riyadh, and he say he wants to do all these things. But Inoue is literally him everywhere on earth. Am I bugging? Like, Canelo Alvarez is in everywhere on earth getting it in. And Canelo...
I can't say that. You know why?
Why?
The Japanese fans travel like the UK fans.
Mm-hmm.
So they give you the illusion that they are that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because anywhere he go, they travel with him.
Oh, so you're saying like he brings a stadium with him.
Right.
So
like
Ricky Hatton did.
Like Ricky Hatton.
Yeah. Yeah, his fan base was
diabolical, bro.
Crazy.
I never seen outside
Ricky Hatton. Yeah, man.
What? Everywhere he went.
Yeah.
Everywhere he went.
Along.
They done turned the song
the
from
hand to Wonderland.
They made it Ricky Hatton.
Yup.
They turned the song into Ricky Hatton.
It was amazing. Yeah, it was definitely a good energy about Ricky Hatton, man. When he came in the building, man, they loved him, bro. Packed it out and turned up. They love
that dude. Win, lose, or draw, they love Ricky Hatton.
Yeah.
So when you look at it, you know, from that standpoint, I got to question it, because I don't know if it's a situation where his fans just travel well with him.
Mm-hmm.
Because last night, it was hella Japanese fans in the building.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if it's a case of they travel with him well, you know what I mean? Or is it a case of, you know, because globally, like, I don't know if he's supported like that. I don't know. Asian fans, you know, they support they fighters, like Mexican fans. So I don't know, man. But he got, like you said though. Oh, he got some big. He got some. He can name his price. Blank checks.
He don't even got to name it. He's getting it. Turkey gonna give it to him. Like, Turkey already gave him $19 million just to be an ambassador.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? With Ring Magazine. So he's that guy to me. He's that guy to me. You know what I'm saying?
I like him. I like him for sure.
Yeah, I love I think he's great quality boxing. You know what I'm saying? And well-rounded, man. Boxes, moves around, shot selection.
Because I told a few people that was there, and they was like, bro, it was not sold out.
Mm-hmm.
They
said it wasn't?
Yeah, they was like, it was not sold out. It was hella season.
I mean, it was on a Sunday too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I don't know.
Yeah.
But that dude is exciting though. You can't
He is, man. Win, lose, or draw, man. And I'm gonna be real with you. Him getting knocked down in the second round made the fight even better. It made the fight better, man. People are talking about, oh, he got clipped and knocked down by a cab driver in the second round. What's he gonna do at 126, bro?
And I don't think Cardenas was a cab driver. I just think this was.
That's what they're calling him. Right. They're calling him an Uber driver. Actually, is what they called him.
It was just his first opportunity, and people didn't know who he was.
Right. But at the end of the day, somebody get punched in their mouth. They get punched in their mouth. Period. He got punched clean in his mouth, bro, and he got sound in his pockets, man. You know what I mean? It is what it is. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
Third simple Ennis said, I think Raymond Ford would have beaten Inoue at 126. I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. I don't think Raymond Ford was strong enough. I think he was a weak 126-pound fighter.
He didn't have the body, the stamina to do it.
Right. I think at 130 though, he's a problem for that boy. That boy.
130 version of Ford. And that's a different conversation.
Yeah, that's a different energy right there. That's a whole different energy right now. Right now, I think Ford is my 130 is my 130 dark horse right now. He that guy that I don't think nobody in that division really want no smoke with him for real. They just don't know they don't want no smoke yet. He a problem.
That dude's a beast, bro. You could see he is the epitome of being weight drained.
Yeah. Because you see when he went up to 130, he changed. He morphed into a whole nother
immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately. So now let's get to the last topic, then we're gonna get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
What you think about Turkey Al-Rashid still pushing for the Devin Haney Ryan Garcia fight in October? I think it's a bad idea, me personally. But what's your thoughts on that? About
Devin Haney fighting Ryan? I told you already, as far as it depends on Devin Haney and his need for closure. Listen, man, something happened to him in that fight with him and Ryan Garcia. Something happened. It took away something from Devin Haney that he might need to get back, and he might only be able to get it back to the art of war, right? Through combat, to hand-to-hand combat. That's something very personal for Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia to handle. It's hard for me to comment in that and take away that fight or the value of that fight or the need of that fight from Devin Haney, because that fight is a personal situation. And as boxing fans, we might have to stand back and allow this guy to get his closure, because the fighter who we saw on Friday night was a fighter who was still reminiscing about the things that happened in that fight with him in Ryan Garcia. That was a very crazy, impactful experience that Devin Haney went through. So me personally, do I need to see it as a boxing fan? I'm 50-50. I'm 50-50. Part of me doesn't need to see it at all, but part of me kind of wants to see Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia fight on an even playing field and kind of have those questions in my mind answered and those boxes checked as far as who is Devin Haney in real time against Ryan Garcia. Does Ryan Garcia have his card, or was it really the PEDs and Ryan Garcia really can't compete with Devin Haney on an even playing field? And as far as Devin Haney's concerned, he might want to answer the questions for himself. He might want to see if it was really him or was it the PEDs. Did he approach with the wrong game plan? Does his new game plan get him the victory the way he thinks it will? So just like I think that Friday fight wasn't a fight for the fans, it was a fight for Devin. Devin fought that fight for himself. It had nothing to do with impressing the fans or making any kind of impression on the boxing space. It was about him getting his confidence, keeping his legs under him, controlling the pace, and winning that fight handily. He wanted to get back in the win column, and he didn't care by any means necessary. He didn't care. He wanted to do it. So he doesn't give a damn. That's why they could throw a party, right, after the fight and throw a Super Bowl party. You know what I'm saying? Where he's happy and the team is celebrating. And people could be in the dark about what the hell are they celebrating? They didn't even do nothing. What the hell are they celebrating? They're celebrating because they know what they've been through for the past year. Devin Haney did not sit out of boxing for a year for no reason, bro. He didn't bring Shane Mosley into his camp for no reason, bro. He didn't go to Big Bear and leave his home in Los Angeles, his mansion, his cars, his luxurious life, to go and isolate himself in Big Bear Mountains where the air is thin to get himself ready for no reason, bro. He did it because it was that kind of traumatic experience, and it was going to take that kind of commitment to get past it. So yeah, I think the fight might need to happen, depending on if Devin, where Devin ranks it and rates it as far as a necessity and him moving forward, to be the fighter he needs to be when he gets in there with the Duran Buteneses and the Teofimo Lopez's and the maybe the Brian Norman Juniors, the champions at 147. He might need it.
I look at it from that standpoint, and I agree with you, right?
Mm.
But I look at it from the standpoint of their stock for the fight itself, right? And I think that both their stock went down right now.
Mm. Yeah.
And I don't think that it's a fight that it lost its luster, right?
Mm-hmm.
After their performances, right? And I think it would be best to allow them both to get another fight in. Maybe it's still in October, right?
Mm-hmm.
But quickly as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get another fight in quickly as possible and start the build up back towards the rematch. I think that Ryan looked terrible without the PEDs. And we don't know if was it the PEDs, was it not, right? I believe it was the PEDs. You believe it was the PEDs, right? Yep. He needs to prove it wasn't. And Devin needs to prove, not to me, not to Clay,
to himself,
not to himself, that he's comfortable taking a punch. To give you an example, right, Clay?
Like comfortable enough to where he's willing to risk getting hit in order to throw effective punches, right? Because that's what it's all about. If he doesn't believe he can take a punch, then where is the courage going to come in to take a risk in order to make a fight, exciting? The violence. I mean,
because the way he fought, would they have given him the win over Ryan if that was him and Ryan?
He possibly could have lost that fight very much, but I think he would have won, though. I think he would have won. But
you think they would have given him the decision if that was Ryan instead of Jose Ramirez?
I mean, if you're looking at it the way Canelo Alvarez and Scull went, maybe not. Maybe not.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, maybe not.
And so my thing is, he has to answer the questions to himself. And so to give you an example, what I'm trying to get at, right, Clay? Let's say Errol had came back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he fought, I don't want to say Fundora because he's such an anomaly, right? But let's say Errol came back and he fought, who can I say?
Canelo came back?
No, Errol. No,
Errol came back and fought
Terrence Crawford. Let's say he came back and he fought
Sean Porter.
Or no. Who could I say at 54, right?
Haney Garcia. You trying to say like a fight he had a hard time with, or you trying to just say just a fight?
Not Lubin,
like Conwell, like Charles Conwell.
Yeah, like Conwell, right?
Right.
Joey Spencer type fight. And he looked like, and he's just moving around the ring like Devin did.
Right.
He wins the fight like Devin won. Do we want to see him rematch Terrence Crawford after that?
No.
Right? We're going to be like, bro, we got to get another. It's just that the thing is, okay, let me put it this way. If Ryan didn't fight and didn't lose to Rolly, and Devin had that performance, do you still, you would be like, I think he need another fight, right? It's just that we saw Ryan lose and look bad too.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't get like beat up. he just ducked the smoke. He got knocked on his tail and didn't want no more problems for the rest of the fight.
Yeah, Ryan. What Ryan did was Ryan showed us that without the PEDs, there's something missing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he got dropped, right? And
Mm-hmm.
and he lost to Rolly on top of it, who everybody's like, this dude can't. Let's be real. Rolly looked bad in his last 2 fights before Ryan fight.
Right.
And then, then he had that fight, that tune-up type fight. But you know what I'm saying? Like, if Errol had that, we'd be like, hey, man, he might need another fight before he fight Terrence Crawford.
Right.
Right. And it's the same thing, like, with Dev, for me, it's like, I'd rather see him get another fight in before fighting Ryan. Not that he can't box like he did and win, just for his confidence. Because now you're going to be looking at the person that is actually the culprit, right? Right? It's not you're not Jose Ramirez wasn't the guy that did all those things with you.
Right.
And you still was like not committed to getting hit. Like you still was hesitant, right? Still was questioning
Right.
yourself. Imagine now looking at the actual guy.
Yeah. So you're saying he shouldn't fight Ryan Garcia because he's not ready to fight Ryan Garcia yet. He needs a tune-up. He needs to be more confident going into a fight with Ryan Garcia. You're not saying that the value of the fight necessarily is not there all the way, even though that's part of it, but mainly for his own good, get it together.
Right. Because I don't think we're going to get the best. Like, we're not going to get the best version of Devin nor Ryan. So it takes away from the redemption. You know what I'm saying? To me, it's like this, right? Remember, Cotto had fights in between that Margarito fight before he got the rematch.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that would be better. You know what I'm saying? Cotto was able to get back, you know what I'm saying, before he faced the guy he had the trauma with.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Remember, he fought after the Margarito fight. He had fought Michael Jennings, Joshua Clottey. He then he lost to Pacquiao, but then he had the Yuri Foreman fight, the Mayorga fight. He got some knockouts. Then he went back into the Margarito fight and he stopped Margarito in the 9th round. Right. So it was like he got himself back in the groove of things. And he got back in the groove of things. And then he went and slayed the dragon. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm not saying I'm not saying that he needs to wait that long. You understand what I'm saying? Not at all. I'm just saying that I would much rather see him have a quick turnaround, right? Get back comfortable and complete, because he just didn't seem comfortable.
Yeah, I agree.
He just wasn't comfortable in the ring. You know what I'm saying? So get another fight in. Get comfortable in the ring. You know what I'm saying? And then fight Ryan. And then you could get your full redemption. Hey, what's up? Muscle Up Cat, what's up, family? Make sense?
Yeah. I understand where you're coming from. You know what I mean? I think, and I don't think there's anything wrong with I think that's some real healthy honesty, right? Acknowledging that Devin Haney is obviously still working out some coming to peace with some things that happened between him and Ryan Garcia in that fight. And, getting hit like that, getting put on wobbly legs that early and having a hard time recovering. that's a traumatic experience. And I agree. I think the performance he had with Jose Ramirez was evident of that. The way he was fighting, you could tell he was very gun shy. I'm excited and very interesting in needing to see him in his next fight to see the improvements. I was happy he was just able to get through 12 rounds and that he showed up and he was able to take the victory and win all the rounds damn near of the fight. But yeah, he has a lot more to do before he can even consider getting in the ring with it.
And that's my thing.
Like, Ryan Garcia isn't that like isn't him right now?
Thing, like you just said, right, Clay?
Mm-hmm.
That's my thing, right? He got that out the way, like you just said. You got the 12 rounds, you got back in the ring, you knocked some ring rust off. You know what I'm saying? TR, what up? Kawhi Elliott, what's up? You got back in the ring, you knocked some ring rust off. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You're getting back in the groove with things. Now have one more fight just to completely, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I like the Rolly fight. Because Rolly's a step up from Jose Ramirez. Mm-hmm. Rolly is his confidence is at an all-time high.
Right.
He got power. We know Rolly got power. You know what I'm saying? But now, Jimmy Boston, what's up? Now you get back in Rolly, you stay in the pocket a little bit longer. You should be able to. Rolly's not as quick as Ryan, right? And I think that people also got to take into consideration styles make fights. Mm-hmm. You understand? Rolly's power also made Ryan hesitant as well. You understand what I'm saying? You can stay now. You practice again. I'm not disrespecting Rolly or anything. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is now you take more chances, right?
Right.
Now I can stay in the pocket with Rolly a little bit longer, right? I can see his punches coming a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? I got some ring rust off. You know what I'm saying? I can get back to now. I do that with Rolly. Ha ha. You might take a punch here and there with Rolly, so on and so forth. And now you're like, all right, boom. And again, I'm not saying he won't beat Ryan Garcia this way. I'm not saying that at all. He can. You know what I'm saying? But is it redemption? You understand? And you don't want to. Again, Sugar Ray Leonard made Duran quit in the rematch, right? Absolutely quit. You know, and that was huge. You know what I'm saying? But he frustrated him and made him quit. That was his redemption. That was his redemption. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And for Devin, he gonna want redemption. You know what I mean? Not just the score. You gonna want to beat him convincingly. You know what I mean? You want to beat him convincingly. Dwayne T, my brother in the super chat, dropping that Cinco on us in the super chat. He said, I watched the Devin Ryan fight last night, and it was unbelievable how much different Ryan looked and performed. He was like a whole new person. Yeah. Attitude, everything, completely different.
Yeah, that's why I said earlier on the show, too. I said, whatever reason you want to use. If you want to say it was the PEDs, if you want to say it was the lack of a crowd, if you want to say it was a year layoff, if you want to use all these excuses, whatever it is that you choose to stand on, one thing is consistent. Well, two things are consistent. Number one, the Ryan Garcia you saw fight against Devin Haney was a complete different looking person, physically, aesthetically, as well as fighter and aggression and all those things. Complete different than who we saw fight Friday night against Rolly Romero. That's one difference. That's one consistency. And the second consistency is there was PEDs in his system when he fought against Devin Haney. Whether he took it on purpose or not, don't matter. It was in his system. And supposedly, unless, in the next coming weeks we find out he had PEDs in his system, there wasn't any this time around. Those things are consistent as far as facts are concerned, as far as data that you can legitimately factor into whatever you're thinking, whatever conclusion you're going to come up to. Those things are consistent. And Ryan Garcia did look different. Remember, we was at the weigh-in. The room was rumbling. The room was rumbling when Ryan jumped on that scale and took his shirt off. Everybody was like, "What the?" You just heard it in the room. Yeah, man, Ryan looking different, man. You see how Ryan look? Man, he's looking soft right there. He looking soft around something. It was just rumbling. You could just hear the rumbling going on in the room of the conversation. Everybody noticed, you know what I'm saying, this difference in him. Now, attribute it to whatever you want to attribute it to. But that was consistent. It is what it is.
Exactly. And you was there. You witnessed it firsthand.
Yeah. There's just rumbling. I was like, damn. I remember being like, damn. And then I remember you like, yep, man. And you, what'd you say it was that you saw on the show? What was it again?
He has gyno.
Yeah, the gyno, right? Which is the nipple, right? He got the nipples. He got the woman. You know what I'm saying? He's starting to, you know what I mean? Everybody saw it, man. It is what it is. So
yeah, that gyno only comes from steroids.
Right.
It just is what it is. It's like again, like I said, you can look at Alan Lamb, what's up? Out of Sports Guy, what's up? NHD Productions, Hendo the Fearless One, what's up? You can look at I said, oh boy, what's his name? That played in Creed. And now he just had Terrence Miller, what's up? Jarrell Freeman, what's up?
Come on, Jose Benavidez
no,
Jr.?
Hold on, let me see.
You talking about Gabriel Rosado?
No. What's dude's name? Jonathan Majors.
Oh, right. One of the stars, a co-star.
Yeah. Jonathan Majors did a movie. Jonathan Majors did a
bodybuilding movie.
The bodybuilding movie. It's called Magazine Dreams.
All right. I ain't seen it, but I've seen the thumbnail and the trailer for it.
And initially he was trying to say he was natural. And immediately you can see the gyno. Right. You can see it from the Creed movie to now. You can see the gyno. You know what I mean? Because you messing with your hormones, the steroids. And everybody was like, bro, we can see the gyno. You know what I'm saying? All the bodybuilders. You know what I mean? They're like, bro, we can see the gyno. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just is what it is. You know what I mean? You can't hide it. You just can't. Jahan Smith, salute, family. You know what I'm saying? You just can't. You simply cannot hide it. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. And so, you could clearly see it when Ryan got on the stage. Okay. Immediately, like Clay said, Clay was there. We was at the weigh-in. And immediately, as soon as Ryan took his shirt off, everybody was like, bruh.
It was just rumbling in there. It was hilarious. You heard it. I feel like people were trying to like say it under their breath. Right. Like it was just like, because everybody was in unison doing it at the same time, it was loud. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a choir. It was like, everybody was just kind of walking away from the stage and kind of talking. And Blue's like, yup. There go that.
I said it out loud.
Yup. He's like, yup. There go that. Yeah, go that gyno. He got that gyno. And started walking away. You know, I'm with Blue, so wherever he going, I'm like, where we going? He like, he got that gyno. Come on.
And the crazy part is, that's before he lost, and we saw how he was going to perform.
Yup.
But you could see it. So
if we had the heart to act on it, we could have made some money, bro. We could have put that money on Rolly and got some, because it was a legitimate possible outcome based off of that weigh-in. Like based off that weigh-in, it was like Rolly might mess around and clip this dude.
Right.
Rolly might
remember the Benny the Jeweler was arguing with me.
Yeah.
He like, Rolly look good. And I'm like, man, looking good don't win you fights.
Right. That was just us being overcommitted to the facts that we went into it with. Like, that ain't enough for us to go against what we know, but we know boxing is boxing, man. Rolly just ain't. We just didn't rate Rolly like that. Who would have ever guessed that Rolly would outbox?
And people can't be mad because the facts remains is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like when you look at Rolly performance, his last two fights.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, let's be real. Everybody loves to be these. All of a sudden, everybody's a genius after. You know what I'm saying?
Sideline coaches, what do they call them?
You know what I'm saying? Monday morning quarterbacks. You know
Monday morning quarterbacks, right?
Yeah, everybody. I told you, man. Stop it, man. Stop it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just is what it is, man. It is what it is, bro. It is what it is. Rolly, again, to be real, Rolly just nobody ever said Rolly can't fight. It's just he's not disciplined, right? You can see the martial arts, the background for the mixed martial arts come into play. You can see it a mile away. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It shows up big time. You know what I mean? He squares up. In this fight, this dude, Rolly, was more disciplined than anybody on the card.
Facts.
The most disciplined dude on the entire card was Rolando Rolly Romero. Come on. Who's seen that coming? Ain't nobody seen that coming, man. Stop, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We got to be realistic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. King Brian, yeah, we talked about it a little bit earlier, man. I brought it up, you know what I mean? Just as far as Blue asked me about it, and I asked, does Boots have bigger fish to fry? Is he worried about Tio? Is he more concerned about his legacy? Does he still want to be undisputed? Or is he, you know, when we watched Bozy speak before, he basically said that if it didn't make sense at this point, that they didn't need to, they considered themselves undisputed. He considers himself the best fighter because he's a unified lineal champion. He almost kind of, you know, discounted. He was speaking towards the Brian Norman fight and just basically saying, we'll go to 154 if these guys make it difficult. In other words, if we got to give up what we gave up to fight Sandy on this, we're not doing that again. We're not giving up nothing to unify these belts in this division again. If it makes sense and we getting what we're supposed to get and we get that privilege that we've earned, we're willing to fight anybody in the division. But if the cost is going to be what we had to pay for that Sandy Onis fight, as far as money coming out of our purse, we'll go to 154.
Yeah, we just ain't gonna do that sacrifice no more.
Right. So the question is, are they willing to pay him and give him the compensation I think he probably deserves at this point, being that he is the unified lineal champion in that division? Or are they going to make it difficult?
He's an ace out against anybody now.
Right. You know what I mean? So I don't think he doesn't want to give up 300,000, 200,000. He doesn't want to give up nothing. He wants the opportunity to be recognized as an opportunity. He wants whoever comes to the table to recognize that if I bless you the same way they look at Tank when they fight in Tank, or when they looking at, you know, when they used to look at Errol and just, you know, take the opportunity. Well, like they look at Canelo, you know what I mean? Like, take the opportunity, man, and take a shot at doing something for your legacy, or I'm good. Because I don't need this no more. I'm ready to go to the next chapter in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Speaking of which, Mario Barrios, they confirmed it today. They announced it today.
Well, with him and Pacquiao?
Pacquiao, yeah. What you think about that?
I mean, we talked about it when we found out about it, right?
Yeah.
Mario Barrios is a prize fighter now, man. I say this respectfully. Mario Barrios is honest with himself on the kind of fighter he is. And we can see that by the way he's allowing his career to be moved. How he's not pursuing unifications. How he's not pursuing the best fights that he can get into. How he's taking all the money fights. He went on Jake Paul's card, right? And fought Abel Ramos and almost got, you know, beat in that fight, went to a draw. You know what I mean? And here he goes going with the old man in Manny Pacquiao, who hasn't fought in however many years. And he's choosing that over, you know, unifying and fighting one of the other champions in his division, or at least fighting, you know, a competitive. There are fights out there at 147 for him to make that would be decent fights. The PBC is doing this thing with their fighters, bro. And that's why people are talking about Rolly Romero fight Ryan Garcia again, or Rolly Romero fight Boots, or nah, the PBC isn't gonna move Rolly that way. They're gonna keep Rolly.
I'm gonna tell you what though, Clay. I'm gonna tell you what. If Pacquiao is to beat Barrios,
crazy.
They're gonna make Boots and Pacquiao quick.
They're gonna make Boots and Pacquiao what? Quick?
Yeah. Because Pacquiao he gonna want it. Big Herm, my brother in the super chat. What if Rolly stopped Ryan in the rematch? Retire. Or if he stopped Ryan, it's over. If he stopped Ryan Garcia in the rematch, it's over, bro. Salute my brother Witty in the super chat, dropping that Cinco on us in Super Chat. He said, after Saturday fight with Canelo, do you feel Crawford needs to knock out Canelo in order to win? No, he's a higher profile fighter than William Scull. And the whole point was to get to Crawford and Canelo.
Yeah, and also, not for nothing, I always tell you guys, the judges know how these fighters fight. And I'll tell you like this, if the fight doesn't look like a Canelo fight, Canelo doesn't win the fight. If the fight looks like a Terrence Crawford fight, you know what I'm trying to say, Blue? Mm-hmm. Like if it looks like they're going to assume that it's going that way because Terrence wants it to go that way. This is one of those fights where Terrence can win the decision because they have enough data and understanding of who Terrence is to know what it looks like when he's winning a fight, and vice versa with Canelo Alvarez. It won't be judged on some weird scale where, you know, it's the odds are against Terrence Crawford. I think it's going to be fair. I expect fair judging in this fight because they understand who's in the ring. A lot of the times it's political, the way these decisions go, but a lot of times it's just, you know, like for example, with Canelo Alvarez and William Scull in this fight recently, Canelo being the aggressor is what they expected of Canelo, right? William Scull's a fighter who just came out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like he's got a record and everything, but nobody follows him. Seeing him run around the ring looks like he's running for his life. So they gave the fight to Canelo. Because they're like, nah, clearly Canelo's aggression had that man on his bicycle and he didn't want no problems and he wasn't able to change or adjust or make any differences happen. So, you know, clearly Canelo must be winning the fight. Mm-hmm. That's what'll happen with Terrence and Canelo. That the fight looks like a paced out fight to where Terrence is establishing that space, attacking that body, implementing the game plan he wants to implement, and it seems to be effective. He'll get the decision. Mm-hmm. He'll get it. Shout out to
he's just a higher profile fighter. Yeah. It's okay to give him it's strategic on his part. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Salute to my brother Charles Edward Cheese, brother in the super chat, dropping that 200 on us in the super chat. Salute, brethren. Peace and love to the world. Salute, Cheese. Where you been at, brother? How you feeling, brother?
Cheese. Hope everything's good with you, family. Hope you're good and healthy.
Cheese. Yeah, but let's get our last words and get out of here.
No doubt, so man.
I definitely think that it'll be judged and scored different for Terrence Crawford.
I don't know. I think it will be, but I think it'll also be scored different for Canelo. I think this is a fight where, you know, I think both these guys is holding a lot of weight as far as the caliber of fighters, as far as the pound for pound status, as far as what they bring to the table. And I think there's a way Terrence Crawford looks when he wins this fight, and I think the judges are aware of it, and they have a vision in their mind of what it looks like for Terrence Crawford to win this fight. They don't expect Terrence Crawford to knock out Canelo Alvarez. They don't expect him to do certain things, and they expect him to do other things great. And I think on the Canelo side, they expect him to win a certain way as well. And I think if he's not winning that weight, they're going to assume that Terrence is effectively stopping him from winning that way, and that could work out as points for him. It is what it is.
Yep, Raiders Stadium, Cheese, September 12th. It's going.
Yeah, bro, Vegas, baby, here we come. Let's do it.
It's going to be crazy, Cheese. It's going to be crazy.
It's going to be crazy. Hey, yo, shout out to Turkey Al-Sheikh as well. I know he's getting a lot of hell for this event not being as eventful as people wanted it to be. But guys, and in Blue, who was in the city, them pulling that off was a logistical nightmare. It really was. It wasn't going to be easy for them to do it, bro. The fact that they pulled it off, we got to put the onus on the back of these fighters to make something out of the opportunity that they've been given.
New York simply was not going to let it happen.
Nah.
Simple. To people, New York was not going to let that happen.
Too dangerous.
They made him put up the barricades around the ring, the event itself. Right? They changed the location of the ring and put it in that narrow area at the last second because they told him the ground was uneven by the stairs.
Right.
So they told him, me and Clay was talking to the cops and everything. Mm-hmm. They told the cop, what the cops say? Oh, they told him they wasn't going to block the streets off.
Right.
So they put the barricades on the corner for the people who can't cross, but they didn't stop the cars from going through.
Right.
Like he paid $18 million, but what he expected, they was like, no, this is a hazard.
That's right, pretty much. It was a security nightmare. They wouldn't have been able to protect. They wouldn't have been able to properly contain and protect them without that kind of containment. You know what I mean? Plus, it was all kind of, Sean Zattel was out there talking about 9/11 stuff and kind of gaslighting.
And then on top of that, Clay, remember, they told us that they made him have the Secret Service surrounding him.
Right.
So nothing happens to him on U.S. soil. There's nothing he could do about that.
100%.
So it just affected the event. But let's get out of here, great brother.
Yeah, man. Salute to everybody in the building, man. I appreciate you guys. Hey, guys, remember my link is at the top of the chat. If you haven't taken the opportunity to subscribe to my channel, go ahead and do that. I'd appreciate you guys if you did that. I'll be on in the morning, 11 in the morning. That's the game plan.
When we come back on tomorrow evening, we'll have a special guest with us.
Oh, so, can't wait.
Can't wait. We're going to have a special guest with us tomorrow. So I'm looking to come on, I believe it'll be 5. Let me just get that. It's looking that way. So 5 p.m. me and Clay will be back on, and we're going to have a special guest. So make sure y'all click that link. Claymo channel is pinned up in the chat. Click the link, subscribe to his channel. He come on 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is 8 a.m. on the West Coast, and that's 10 a.m. Central Time. So click the link to Claymore's channel. The link is pinned up in the chat. And tomorrow evening, we're going to have a very special guest for y'all to kick it with. I'm going to open up the phone lines at the second half of the interview so y'all can ask your questions that you want to ask. Respectfully, and we're going to have a time limit. So, yeah, man, make sure y'all tune in tomorrow. I'm going to post it in the community, though. Okay, so I'm going to post it in the community so that everybody's updated and nobody miss what's going on. So I'm gonna post that in the community so everybody won't miss it. So I keep you guys updated. So make sure y'all tune in. Libra 926, what's up, family? Make sure y'all tune in, man. So we appreciate y'all coming through, studying up, holding us down, and showing us love, man. Much love to each and every one of y'all. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon, and get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. So what we got for y'all. We gone. Peace.
Peace.